The following is a World-Class Bullshitters exclusive.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. The Rian Johnson trilogy has been delayed. I know, I'm feeling it too. If there's one thing I'm hungry for, it's more Star Wars, especially if it comes from the guy who gave us this.
I saved you.
Don't you just love The Last Jedi? You didn't? Well, screw you! You were getting more Rian Johnson before you knew you wanted none to start with. There's this old saying about a horse and a cart and how one shouldn't come before the other, but Lucasfilm would have been wise to just let this horse run right off a cliff. Ego is a motherfucker, and Lucasfilms was off the charts after the success of Star Wars The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was the film where they got away with a lot of bullshit and made a lot of money. Over $2 billion. Star Wars was riding higher than it had ever been. The next film in the trilogy, The Last Jedi, would be directed by Rian Johnson. Internally, it was being called the best Star Wars film ever, and Johnson a visionary. Roughly a month before The Last Jedi was released, Lucasfilm put out this press release which read, "For director Rian Johnson, Star Wars The Last Jedi was just the beginning of his journey in a galaxy far, far away." Lucasfilm was excited to announce that Johnson will create a brand new Star Wars trilogy, the first of which he is also set to write and direct, with longtime collaborator Ron Bergman on board to produce. As writer-director of The Last Jedi, Johnson conceived and serialized a powerful film of which Lucasfilm and Disney are immensely proud. In shepherding his new trilogy, which will separate from the episodic Skywalker saga, Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never been before explored. "We all loved working with Rian on The Last Jedi," said Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. "He's a creative force, and watching him craft The Last Jedi from start to finish was one of the greatest joys of my career." Rian will do amazing things with a blank canvas of his new trilogy. "We had the time of our lives collaborating with Lucasfilm and Disney on The Last Jedi," Johnson and Bergman said in a joint statement. "Star Wars is the greatest modern mythology, and we feel very lucky to have contributed to it. We can't wait to continue with this new series of films." Johnson's upcoming Star Wars The Last Jedi arrives in US theaters on December 15th, 2017. No release dates have been set for the new films, and no porgs were available for comment. Oh, porgs. Tasty creatures. As we all know, The Last Jedi went on to break every record and be widely regarded as the best Star Wars film of all time. No. The Last Jedi broke Star Wars. It divided the fandom and showed the disdain that Lucasfilm and their employees had for those fans. It was an ugly time, but a fun time. Turns out the fandom menace was right about The Last Jedi and Disney Star Wars, except for this one thing. There was a time when Lucasfilm was so pleased with director Rian Johnson's work on Star Wars The Last Jedi. They announced that Johnson would be spearheading a new trilogy of films, endowing him with tremendous control over the franchise's future. It's been 5 years since The Last Jedi was released to stellar reviews, but divided fans right down the middle. It also lost a lot of money in the process. In that time, Johnson's trilogy was quietly put on the back burner, which is apparently where it's staying. In a new Vanity Fair spread highlighting the future of Star Wars, both on the big screen and streaming, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy made the now customary comment about the status of Johnson's trilogy. She said that the director has been unbelievably busy with his Knives Out films, which, her words implied, will probably keep Johnson occupied for the next few years. Crucially, though, Kennedy noted that they're avoiding using the word trilogy, not just for Johnson's films, but Star Wars movies in general. In her own words, "Rian has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal that he made with Netflix for multiple movies. I hesitate to use the word trilogies anymore because Star Wars is much more about persistent storytelling." What this suggests is that Lucasfilm is going to deviate from the Marvel-minded original plans and focus on director-driven standalone movies. One of those is said to be produced by Marvel Studio president Kevin Feige, but Kennedy said there's no update on that. Taika Waititi's movie will probably be the first one out of the gate, followed by the now even more delayed Rogue Squadron directed by Wonder Woman's Patty Jenkins. While Waititi's schedule will probably be more clear after he releases Thor: Love and Thunder, Jenkins has a third Wonder Woman movie and a planned Cleopatra biopic in the pipeline. Johnson, as Kennedy noted, is hard at work on his Knives Out movies. At one point, Rian Johnson was even supposed to be charting the next decade of Star Wars storytelling with Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, but those two exited their Star Wars deal in 2019. Simply put, they were fucking fired. The franchise appears to be pivoting to streaming meanwhile, with multiple shows in the works. Fans will have enough to keep them occupied while Lucasfilm attempts to retool the franchise for the big screen. Copying Marvel was a problem that we'll be covering in another video, but Star Wars was up to its own thing, and these people trying to alter it destroyed it. This stems from Disney buying up properties and then having too many. They bought Star Wars and Marvel to appeal to boys, since Disney was just their princess bullshit for years. Once they had said properties, they tried to make those boys' properties appeal to girls and in the process created nothing interesting. The Last Jedi is the prime example of that. Rian Johnson wanted to subvert our expectations, but in the process forgot how to tell a functioning story. How does this thing work? Don't worry, find out next time. Except we'll have another director. That's a problem with modern filmmaking, but it hurts Star Wars the most because there was always a plan. In 1997, when the teaser poster for The Phantom Menace appeared, we knew the whole trilogy was going to be the story of Anakin's descent to the dark side. Modern filmmaking and its marketing relies on this mystery crap that isn't working. Secrecy is nothing new to Star Wars, see Blue Harvest, but Lucasfilm should be in on the mystery, not in the dark with the rest of us. Lucasfilm is run poorly, simply put. I'll be covering more of this Vanity Fair interview, so make sure you're subscribed to World Class Bullshitters, have the bell turned on, and all the other hoops that YouTube makes you jump through to find us. Trust me, we're worth it. But we're not done here yet. No, not yet. See, Rian Johnson's trilogy had a little more life in it. We've been told for years that it's happening. Every few months, a new article is released, reminding us that the trilogy no one is asking for is still happening. In 2018, we were told, prior to the release of Star Wars The Last Jedi, Lucasfilm announced that they were so excited by the collaboration with writer-director Rian Johnson that he would be developing his own Star Wars films, with fans speculating in the months since the announcement about when we could see these films. Johnson confirmed with a fan on Twitter that he is still working on the storylines. In 2019, we heard the Brick and Looper filmmaker, whose hotly awaited murder mystery Knives Out bows this fall at the Toronto International Film Festival, told The Observer that he's excited to get started on a new slate of Star Wars films disconnected from the dominating Skywalker saga. I think the fun and challenging part of this is to dive in, figure out what's exciting, and figure out what's going to be, Johnson said in the interview. We're doing something that steps beyond the legacy characters. What does that look like? To me, the blue sky element of it is what's most striking about it. I know the way I'm coming at it, it's all about fun and about everyone in George Lucas's films, is figuring out what's the next step. It really does make you think and figure out what the essence of Star Wars is for me and what it will look like moving forward. Dude, you are never touching Star Wars again. In 2020 and 2021, we heard the same things, and today, nearly 5 years after the initial announcement, we're still waiting. Tom Petty once said that waiting is the hardest part, but waiting is easy because it means I'll never have to be subjected to Rian Johnson's Star Wars again. Other movies he's made are fine, but with Star Wars, Rian Johnson should be called Simple Jack because he makes them crappy. So folks, are you surprised by this news that the Rian Johnson trilogy is on the back burner? Look, from the day I walked out of that theater, I could have told you that the Rian Johnson trilogy was going to be on the back burner indefinitely because Hollywood cannot admit defeat. There's too much pride, too much ego on the line. But there's too much money on the line too. So instead of just saying, hey, The Last Jedi sucked and we'd never make another Rian Johnson Star Wars film, we're just going to keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and Rian Johnson will probably die before the film ever gets made, but that won't stop Lucasfilm from putting out a release telling us that the Rian Johnson trilogy is on its way and that we have nothing to worry about. So folks, I want to know what you're worried about with Star Wars down below. The Vanity Fair article dropped a lot of bombshells and we're going to be covering each one of them. So here's the Rian Johnson trilogy for you. I could have told you many years ago when I saw The Last Jedi, when I made the videos, when I saw the toys rotting on the shelves, when I saw the toys at clearance, when I watched videos of Star Wars merchandise be put into a grinder and destroyed and turned into recyclable products. Then I could have told you that this shit was never happening. But I gotta wait like the rest of you and keep being sold the same old shit day in and day out. So folks, thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel with all your bell notifications turned on. And make sure that you back Wokebusters. If you don't like wokeness and entertainment, then you're gonna love Wokebusters. It's the comic book that you've been waiting for. It makes fun of wokeness, all this other bullshit in the news, and it does it in a nice Ghostbuster style package, which is very reminiscent of the real Ghostbusters. So if you like that cartoon, you love the movie, and you're a big fan of everything excellent, well then check out Wokebusters. It's the comic for the enlightened reader, and it'll be on its way to you later this summer. So folks, in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but most importantly, always be excellent to each other. Hashtag I told you that shit wasn't gonna happen.